all this autonomous car stuff, driverless car stuff, it requires regulations.
Yes.
We just got a big update there,
Yes.
by the way.
All right, so I'm really excited to talk about this topic. It's not something that we would usually cover out of, our consumer show, of course. And before we, get into some of the companies and the technologies and the innovation that's happening in this space, there's of course the regulatory framework. And there's a big update recently being pushed by Google, actually. So basically, Google obviously very well known for pushing a lot of these self-driving car efforts. They've been petitioning the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration to basically reevaluate how it defines a driver. The idea being, while some companies are approaching the self-driving cars where they're still giving it, a steering wheel, brake pedal, things along those lines, where the riders can still operate the car, Google is envisioning it where there's none of that. And the car is truly...
It's literally just a pod or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And as a result... they wanted to petition the government to consider the fact that in those instances where there is no steering wheel and it's real, that person's just getting into this pod, like you mentioned, the driver's considered the software and not the rider.
So I'm sure that what popped into our listeners' minds, because it popped into my mind immediately, was what happens in the event of a fatality or something? Then is it just an act of God, or is it just? I mean, what?
So this is where this is where I think a lot of laws and rules are going to need to be rewritten, exempted, waived, or just changed to try and catch up with the technology. All this decision really came out as basically, the Traffic Safety Administration, they agreed with what Google was petitioning in this instance. But there's still a lot of work to do, obviously. And so in those instances where you mentioned like there is a fatality, for example, that is ultimately the main focus of these companies, where they see the benefits of these cars and this technology of making driving safer, reducing congestion, and also potentially having a lot of environmental benefits as well, and way more than actually as we get into it. The thing is, there's going to be obviously a really long fight ahead to create all those exemptions, the exceptions, and necessary rules to adapt for this. But on that note, I will say that Secretary of Transportation Anthony Foxx, he commented earlier this year, I think it was at the auto show, the big Detroit Auto Show. His department is really supportive of this effort, of this technology, and he's stated that he would actually consider speeding up the process or even waiving some rules in order to help get these cars on the road, assuming they can pass all the safety tests and things along those lines.
The reasoning being that the benefits outweigh the potential downsides.
Yeah, if the technology is proven and it can drive safely. When you remove elements like people being distracted with texting on the phone or things along those lines, or just aggressive drivers, when you can remove some of those elements.
Well, even is it true that like I heard that like Google's autonomous cars that they've been testing or whatever, they've been in a few accidents, but they're all human error or something?
From the other party.
Yeah,
that's
from
generally
the
what
other
I heard
cars
as well.
And stuff. It's like, well, if every car on the road is an autonomous car and they're all talking to each other, I mean, I would have to assume auto fatalities alone would go down like 99% or something.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. So obviously, in answer to my question earlier, it sounds like they don't have the actual rules written for when a fatality happens.
No, of course not. So this is just kind of moving in that direction where you can see that they are making some progress, and it seems like, in terms of the institutional, like the government, they are supportive of these efforts, and they are generally trying to work with automakers, technology companies, and kind of building out this technology together.
So the conversation has begun. Wait and see. But if the government's on board, that's obviously bullish.